I guess time flies when you're having fun. Jason, we're on Class 8, the final class of Berkshire Open Gilts today.
Absolutely. It's again kind of an older set. These are those. It's like all facets of October.
We'll have 5 classes of Berkshire boards to work through here once we finish up the Open Gilt Drive. We're going to delay the Brett Gilt show with just a single entry until we do the grands and the grand selections at the end of the board show. So those of you anxious to see that entry, we're going to ask you to hold off just about 5 more classes to see that one. Last gilt in here was the 818-5 gilt to Bryce, as you see going across the center of your ringer right now. It's got that blue and black brush with the black pipe. Looks like she may have suffered an injury here.
Yeah, she's not getting around as good as what you think she normally might.
Those of you listening to the broadcast today might have realized this is the first time that we've done the Walton webcasting of the CPS and Berkshires at the World Pork Expo, and I know it's something that I often enjoy when I'm not able to make it to the show. So you see these sponsors scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Those are the folks that help make this possible. Be sure to reach out to them and say you appreciate that. You saw their ad on the webcast. I think they'll appreciate that, and there's some value in that. Something I hope that they continue to do, not only at the World Pork Expo, but at all these national CPS and Berkshire shows as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the sponsors are what make it possible for you and I to sit here and be talking to you about these, and while you guys sitting at home are able to see it. I mean, it's not a free service. It's not a free free option to put on. It takes all the help of those sponsors to make it all possible.
Real nice gilt here in front of us here, Jason, 870-5. Going across your screen now, the gal in the red shirt. Driving, good built type of female, a lot of mass, dimension. One that I'm sure should catch a pen here pretty quick.
Yeah, you'd certainly think so. She kind of fits the mold of what Brad and John have been doing all day.
We do have our first one in a pen over there. Looks like McLean's driving one. I'm guessing that that one's probably the Schaffner and Wabash entry.
I believe the Schaffner and Wabash entry is right here in front of your screen here.
That's correct, Jason. That's a Gene Waters entry from Leavenworth, Kansas. McLean's driving. He's on multi-purpose duty here today, and I know McLean's been in the ring several times today and has not drove one of his own yet, but I do know that he has a Berkshire board coming in here later he's excited about. Pen 2, that's a Stassen family Berkshire entry, 884-6. And pen 3, 880-6. Got Casey Conover, 880-6 in pen 3. And that gilt I was talking about earlier, 870-5, Sierra Reynolds from Texas. She's got a thriller gilt that got pen 4, and that Schaffner entry goes in pen 5. Bryce's gilt that I was struggling to get around the ring a little earlier that we mentioned about. It's going to catch pen 7. The other Stassen entry is going to go in 6.
Nice class holder Gilts to work through here. Again, lots of parts and pieces to evaluate.
The gentleman with the cane and the mullet going across the center of your screen right now, 880-5. Shady Brook Farms entry. That's a Gunslinger hog. And I believe that's a Conover girl driving in the pink shirt. I believe that's Dusty's daughter.
I'm not sure I could pull off the mullet look. It'd be fun, but I'm not sure I could do it.
I'm not capable of growing enough hair to do it.
Same here.
So coming out of pen 1, that's McLean with the Gene Waters entry, 897-5. That's a Godwin Gilt. From pen 2, 884-6. Stassen Family Berkshires. That's a Wedding Singer. Back to black Gilt. Casey's driving 880-6. Shady Brook Farms. Gunslinger Superfly. Casey there in the maroon shirt and the cane going across your screen. They're going to drive 3. Pretty quick with the decision here once those Gilts are let out. Here's John.
We got a nice handle in this class here in the young man's Gilt. The real balanced, heavy structured Gilt of the class that still has the frame size and production that it takes. Big old blade work in her here for an October Gilt. She's showing some leanness. She has some stoutness of feature. I think a relatively easy choice here to lead the class off with. Then I chose to switch this pair and go 880-6 here, second. These Gilts are big and framey, got long rump in her. Like to make her heavier in her skeleton, a little better in her rear end structure, and that's very similar here. You might be a little looser in your gait behind, but it is a little steeper in her hip. Like to just see a little more heaviness of duty to go with that body volume. Really got a one here that's just too small and kind for an October Gilt, but one that needed, I think, to get in the sale here. This Gilt's big-footed. She's got a lot of design to her. Like her hip structure's pretty acceptable. Her vulva's very set in there very correctly. One that can do some things. Just relative to the class, I thought she was just too small and kind to move any higher. Another big old Gilt here, big broody Gilt. Has got some heaviness of skeleton. Got a pretty good old skull on her. A lot of good at this Gilt. She's tall at the shoulder. She's got good length of body, length of side. One there that really is a typical type of female that can do a lot of good, make a sow. Next one out, another Gilt that's big in her framework, feminine in her underline, big in dimension down her top through her rib cage. I'd like to level and lengthen her hip just a little bit and change her rear leg set if I'm being critical. But a really big, broody, big-bodied kind of female that offers a lot of quality. Bryce's Gilt's one that's truly square. Got a little more look than some of the Gilts. She's just come up lame there and just not walking good enough for me. One that really has got a good skull in her. She's truly square. Just needed to get along better on her feet and legs today. And we round out the class with one here that just needed to be a little bit looser and have a little more product to her. But a really good competitive class. Let's give these here exhibitors a nice hand here for this good class.
Here are the results of Class 8 in our Berkshire show. Your class winner was Gene Waters at Leavenworth, Kansas, 897-5. Second in the class, Shady Brook Farm at Oakland, Iowa, 880-6. Third in the class, 884-6, Dawson Family Berkshires, Kirkhoven, Minnesota. Fourth in the class, Sierra Reynolds, Willis, Texas, 870-5. Fifth in the class was Schaffner, Wabash Valley, West Union, Illinois, 881-5.